Perspectives of New Music is a biannual music theory journal that has been publishing since 1962. They're quite hefty, multicolored volumes, which you might find in the free bin of a music library. That was where I first discovered them during my bachelor's degree. I always admired Perspectives because they were often a mix of academic articles and more composerly creative contributions. Often there would be calls for creative things in memoriam of such and such a composer that died during the year of publication, and a lot of this creative work was never published in any other capacity, and I doubt any of it was performed. Volume 9, Number 2 is a good example. Released after the death of Igor Stravinsky in 1971, you could make an entire concert program from the scores that decorate the first half of this issue. On page 59, we have this ornate solo viola piece by Claudio Spies, Canon for Igor Stravinsky's birthday, 1961. Claudio writes that it falls symmetrically between the two death years, 1951 and 1971. 1951, of course, being the year Arnold Schoenberg died. It's some sort of canon with staves that can be read in either direction. See, there's these clefs and brackets. And I'm not sure if it's ever been performed or what a performance would even look like. Maybe it's for between 2 and 10 violas. On the following page is a melody by Vincent Persichetti, instrumentation unspecified. It's also titled Alleluia from and to Igor Stravinsky. It has these left-handed brackets above the staff, which make me think that maybe it's a collage piece, quoting different Stravinsky pieces. There's also this graphic score from a Polish composer I was unfamiliar with, Roman Haubenstock-Ramati, who would have been in his 50s at the time of publication. It's simply titled In Memoriam Igor Stravinsky. There are two multi-page scores as well. The first one is this Sarabande for solo cello by Peter Racine Fricker. It has this curious upper staff from which the performer can pull ornaments, but only on the repeats. I don't know how practical it is. It seems needlessly complicated. But also there's this Elegy by Harvey Sollberger, which is even more substantial. It's for flute, cello, and piano. And there's this linguistic composition for the same In Memoriam. It's by Kenneth Gaburo. I don't really know what to make of it. It's like a text score in 4 movements. I don't know if it's meant to be literally spoken or maybe improvised with. Maybe it's just meant for the journal. Like it's supposed to be in this format and you're just supposed to read it in your mind. Kenneth Gaburo, as it so happens, had his own memorial issue in 1995. This was Perspectives, Volume 34, Number 1, and it's quite massive. Because a lot of Gaburo's work was intermedia work, many of the contributions are from collaborators, and they're often submitting sort of incomplete artworks or like glances at their work. Like, for example, Lizbeth Rymland was working on a libretto for one of Gaburo's projects, and here it is printed after his death, just the words, and it seems like it's two streams of text going on at the same time in different fonts. Yeah, it's unclear what the piece would look like or what this project was all about. Larry Polansky is another American composer. He submitted this computer-generated poem, which is sort of an interpolation of different poems. He has a lengthy explanation about it at the end. You can see it's kind of like scrambled and very strange. The most substantial piece, I would say, in this memoriam is this poem Empty by Robert Paredes. And it's sort of a poem about not being able to compose or not being good at composing. The joke being that the poem itself is a composition, so obviously the speaker can compose. I think it's supposed to be ironic. It's definitely cringy, and it kind of reminded me of like the way that Charles Bukowski is cringy. It's just very like self-absorbed, but you can find recordings of him performing it, and it seems to be different depending on the year it was performed in. So it might be semi-improvised. Maybe this is like a transcription of one of his performances. Volume 26, number one. You have some almost pieces, like there's this lecture by John Cage, which he gave in Tokyo, and it's printed in full at the outset of the issue. You could consider this a sort of score, or maybe like a record of Cage's performance. I've seen stuff like this printed before. I don't really consider it like a musical score necessarily, but there's also this section, being a composer in America, that was printed for the bicentennial of the American Constitution, and it's sort of like a less academic section of the journal. There's this one movement from a larger piece by Ellis Cohn, I think. Yeah, it's sort of like, I guess he has these series of violin pieces called Fantasies, Intermezzi, and Canonic Etudes on the name Eudice Shapiro, or Eudice. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but she was a violin professor at University of Southern California, and Ellis also taught at that same university. So it's a very American piece, which I don't think gets performed all that much. And this is just one movement of it. Then at the back of the issue, this same issue, we have like the largest score, which I have seen out of any of these journals, and it's called L'Hommage and Collage for Ernst Krenek by Mildred Kayden. Mildred was like a New York-based composer who was more famous for being the wife of a wealthy real estate investor, Bernard H. Kayden. But this score apparently was supposed to be printed 4 issues earlier in volume 24 for a Krenek Memoriam, but it was received too late, so it's printed here at the back of this issue. And which kind of makes it even more obscure. Like, how would you even find it if you didn't have a subscription? But yeah, it's a big commission. Mildred was one of Krenek's first students at Vassar College, apparently, and she uses a tone row from her piano sonata, which she wrote in his studio, I guess. And the score is for flute, soprano, and piano, and tape. I have no idea how you would find the tape part for this to perform it. It's probably locked up away in some vault in New York. But it's a big piece. It's like 15 minutes long, and like all the other scores that I'm showing you here, like they're all handwritten and they're quite beautiful, and would have been done in like engraver pen and just mailed to perspectives. This is like before engraving software, before people really had personal computers. And I think it's just a beautiful thing. It's like inaccessible in a way that nothing can be post internet. And also it's sort of impractical to read from. So to perform this, you would actually have to like photocopy it and try your best to blow it up to a readable size. And I just think it'd be really fun to put on a concert of this stuff because it's just so uh, questionably good music. Like it's probably not even good music, and it's incredibly New York, incredibly American, and just weird one-off pieces. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share. And if you have any other scores that you've discovered in these issues, sound off in the comments because I'd love to get to know more of this rep.